Hi everyone, I'm Steve Sutcliffe, and for my next video build, and to coincide with the APC SIG that's going on at the moment, I'm going to build Hobby Boss's 1/35th IDF Nagmachon, I think we'll call it, the Doghhouse 2. Quite an interesting kit. It's something I've been wanting to build for quite some time, so I thought with the SIG going on, perfect excuse to build it. It's got to be out of the box, apart from one addition, which is the IDF Droid ATMD set. I'll go into more about what it's about, etc., once we get round to assembling it. Okay, so as you will now see, I've been a little busy and I've kind of prepared a lot of the parts beforehand. Basically, I don't want you to sit and watch me sand for 2 hours. So what I've done is I've got a little sample of like the wheels, one of the wheel bogies, and then all the other little goodies that we can add to the lower hull. And this way you can just follow along and see how it all goes together. Okay, so I'm going to start with the wheels. Wheels, dead easy on this build. We've got 2 tyres, and each wheel it's made up of 2 halves, and you've got a little cap. So all we need to do is glue the 2 wheels together. So what I like to do when I'm doing wheels, I like to use Tamiya's white top cement, and it's quite simply just brush it on. Just get it in the little hole there, just around the top bit, and then it's just a matter of lining it up, gluing it, and that's as simple. Now the reason I use this is it gives a really strong bond, and with wheels it's also hard to make sure you get your glue. If I'm using Tamiya extra thin, if I'm trying to get you can't get your brush properly in there, so you don't know if you've got to get enough glue on there to make a really good strong bond between the 2 parts. So the thick glue is ideal for it. Okay, so we've got that on. Quickly put the cap on, if I can. It'd help if I put it on the right side, wouldn't it? That's probably why. Then a little bit of extra thin. Now I'm not going to put the tyres on just yet. Reason being, it's just got to be easier to paint all the wheels and then add the tyres on afterwards. So I'll just put that with the others. As for the tyres themselves, now they do have a seam that goes all the way around, so I am going to have to sand them all off, and then I'm going to look at reference material to see whether or not I'm going to put some damage to the tyres. If you look at a lot of armoured vehicles, tracked vehicles, look closely at the tyre, because it's solid rubber, you'll notice that quite often they're quite badly damaged. They have big chunks of rubber missing, some are worn right down. So we'll have a little look at a few reference pictures and take it from there. But for the time being, I'll put that to a side until I've painted all the wheels. Now the next job I'm going to do is put the rear onto the lower hull. It does in the instructions tell you to add all the little parts to this rear plate, and then glue it on, but I think they often get in the way, so I always like to put the rear plate on first and then add the little parts. So we'll just test the fit, which seems to be quite good. So I'll just hold that in place, and then I'm just got to put a load of glue on. Now I'll glue from the back, that way I know it's definitely going in the joints. Plenty on. Okay, I'll just push it, make sure it. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that to one side for a bit and just let the glue go off. Okay, moving on to the wheel bogies. these are made up of several parts, as you can see here, so I'll just get the instructions so now I'll get them assembled correctly. Okay, so first of all, it comes in, you've got your two main exterior parts, and then we've got the kind of suspension bits that go on the interior. Okay, so it's just a matter of making sure we line everything up correctly and get everything in the correct position. So that just pops on there, and that half pops on there. Now you don't need to glue these in place, and then we pop the other half on, and then it's just a matter of gluing it all together. Okay, so I'm just squeezing it together, make sure everything's stuck well. Okay, then what we need to do is just put these little arms on. Okay, so we turn that way. Now, first up, we've got these little hooks that we need to stick on. And again, you've got to make sure we get these in the right way around. So that one goes in there, and then we take that one, put that one in there, it is quite a tight fit actually, and then take these little connecting rods that goes into that hole, and then on the other end is a loop which just goes over there like so, and just a dab of glue. Now it doesn't move, it's not workable, so plenty of glue, make sure it's not going to move. Same again on this side. Okay, and plenty of glue, some there, and as I missed earlier, a little bit just to make sure that doesn't come off. And that's your wheel bogie assembled. So it's quite nice actually, some nice detail, and just you probably will actually see the rear wheel bogies. So what I will do, once the glue's dried, we can just go around here, just make sure it's all nicely polished up and looks the part. So I'll just put that to one side for the moment. Okay, now we've left the rear plate to go off a bit, we can now start gluing on all the different bits and pieces on the rear, and there is quite a lot that goes on actually. If I can find the correct page, there we go. Okay, first up at the bottom we've got a couple of these plates that go on. Now there's definitely one, let's just make sure I've got this right. Right, don't look as though I've cut them off just yet, but anyway, we'll start with these little boxes. And these boxes, we've got one that goes, which is got a rectangular shaped box, and this goes in the rear. That goes in that bottom corner. So I'll just glue that in place. push it down. I'm not going to push too hard. If you push too hard, with it we're using a hot glue, if you push too hard, if it starts to melt the plastic, you'll end up with squidgy bits of plastic coming out the sides, and then you've got to start then having to clean it up. So just gently push it down, just to make sure that the joins have adhered against each other. Okay, so above that we've got the square toolbox, or there's a little square box. So that's just the colour sheet that's just fallen there. So we just need to get that in position again. Just go around all the edges with the extra thin. Push the brushes right underneath, and then again just give it a gentle push and just hold it two pieces together for a moment. Okay, so moving on, got a couple of grab handles. So we've got two holes just to the side of this box, and then the other one goes roughly down here somewhere. In fact, it goes further along there. Okay, so this time I'm just going to put the glue into the hole first of all. Don't worry if you put too much glue on. If you just leave it, any excess glue will evaporate away. You won't have any problems. So just got to get that. Just grab my tweezers. Just hold it between there. Just pop that in. Oop, and that just pinged off. Luckily it went straight on my bench. So this time I'll just try and hold one end. Right. The trouble is this extra thin glue evaporates so quick. I'll just try again. There we go. Just tap it across just to straighten it up. And then I'll grab the second one. And there's still glue there, so I'll just put that straight in. And then just use my finger, so I've got plenty of room, just tap it down. And it's just a matter of straightening it up. Now sometimes, because grab handles, especially the smaller ones, you still end up with a little where the lock sprue gate was, and sometimes they're quite tricky to sand. If you glue them to your part first, glue them in place, then go and sand them, once the glue's set, you'll find it a lot easier than trying to grab hold of it with your fingers and not being able to properly clean it up. So it goes with any bits that you have trouble with sanding. If you glue them on the model, a lot of times you can then sand once they're glued and the glue's gone off and they're in position. Which these look as though they'll need a little sand just to get a little bit more of the what remains of the sprue gate off. Right, let's have a look what's next. Right, is that plate there? Certainly is. Okay, so that's is two parts. So what we need to do is put this part here slots into there. Not 100% certain what it is actually. Unless it's some kind of steps or something to help get up. I do not know. Right, so I'll just try and get this in the correct place. Right, so that's going up into that hole there, which is nowhere that's fitting in there. Right, let's just have a look at this again. Right, so we've got this little part here, and it says it goes in that hole there, which I don't know how that's got to fit. Because that is more suited to that size there. Right, just a bit of confusion here in the instructions. I'm just trying to... Right, we'll come back to that bit. I'll put the bits on that are not, and then we can work out what's going on. So we've got the kind of these little hole pieces which we can just pop in there. So that goes in there like so. Touch glue and push it up against. Then we've got one at the other side. Just put a bit of glue on first, and then so that's in place. Just put a little bit more glue down the side. Okay, we've also got two pieces of track section that go on the back. Right. So this has got a couple of locating pins, so I'm just making sure we get it the right way. To be honest, it's not the clearest. I'm trying to match the locating holes up, but they don't seem to be right, so that should go there, like so. So get the glue on. There is a locating hole and a little pin that goes on, so put some glue there. Just hope it goes off. Right. Yeah, there's not, what I'm going to do is just put some of this Tamiya white cement just on this raised area. Basically, it's any area that's got to be in contact with the rear hull. So we'll locate it again. That's better. And then we've got another one that goes to the side of it. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of white glue on. She'll go along these raised edges. Okay, now this time goes on there like so. Or it should do. Have I got that the wrong way? I certainly have. So that goes like that. Now that bit I were unsure of earlier, when you look at the arrow, because if I show you in the instructions, you'll see what I mean. Just make sure you can see it. You've got a little line there that goes across, and it's that bit arrows pointing up to the top for that bit there, when actually it should be down in the middle. So that arrow's all wrong. It's a bit confusing. Or does that bit go there? I don't know. That's the trouble. I think sometimes they're just not clear enough. So we get this part. Okay, so with the glue on first, and then I'll use my tweezers just to put it in. Just need to line that up a bit better. I'll just nudge that. I'll go back on. There we go. And then what we need to do, we've got this plate here, which then goes over the top of that little bracket I've just put on. So what I'm going to do is just get a little bit, in fact I'll use a Tamiya glue, put a little bit of glue in there, a little bit on there, across there, and then this goes over the top of the track. Okay, just get that in my tweezers, and that goes on there like so, like it should do. So I'll just push it down. Or does that go on first? Do you know something? It's not that clear as to how this all goes together. So what I'm just got to do, if you ever understand, just go through the instructions and just see if there's another picture of it further on that can help you out. It definitely goes over the track. Yeah, I've got it right. It just doesn't look right to me, so we'll just adjust it a little bit better. Right, just lift that. That needs to get straighter. That's it. That goes like that. Oops. And I've just dropped it. So we'll just put a little bit of glue. So we just need to put the glue onto here. That goes like that. Basically you can see there's a little notch inside the track, and that end of this plate that we've just put on just slots in nicely into that, and then that sits on top of the track. And then we do have a couple of plates that are going to sit down here, which I'll add at a later stage. So I'm just looking on, and I think we've just got a couple more pieces that we can add. Okay, now all that's left is actually to the underside of here. Now we've got the toe hook to add. So the toe hook will sit on there. So if I just lift it up, so that goes onto there like so. Right, so just, that That's it. It's actually a rather good fit. There's no gaps or anything. So we'll just push it down. Okay. So that's the tow hook on. And then we've got this another hook, which I've only just assembled the one for the time being, just to show you what it's like, but we've got these little hooks which go either side like so. So we've got one here, and then I will be adding at later stage another one goes in there. And then finally we've got these kind of loops. These go into these holes. You do have to drill these holes out that goes on there. Like so. Well, it will do eventually. Right, I think I'm going to have to drill the hole a bit bigger. Yep, let's just open this hole up a little bit more. Hopefully that'll be big enough. And then we can just put that in there. Like so, and then just add a bit of glue. And then we do have one that goes in the middle there as well. But we'll add that later as well. I'm just trying to, instead of adding everything, I'm just trying to give you a flavour and show you the main things that go on. Right, so with that done, we now can move on to adding all the suspension and the running gear along the side. First up, where all the return wheels go, we need to add all these little pieces here, which are straightforward. They only go on one way. So first of all, we've got 8 of these to put on. So just a matter of gluing them on as we go. So we'll quickly put all these on. So that's first. Oops, just launched that across the way there. So that's that one on. Before we switch sides, we've also got these ones are slightly different, and are probably for where the idler will go on to. Now I just need to make sure I've got this correct. These goes on this end, and I believe it goes, there's 2 locanos, so I need to make sure I get it the right way. 2 holes, 2 pins, so it's just a matter of getting it all lined up. There we go. And then we'll add the glue. Oops. Keep dropping things today. Right, that's the wrong way, so we'll turn it round. Now, because I've put it on the wrong way, I will need to just go and just tidy it up. There is a bit of melted plastic now. Yeah. There we go, got it at last. Oh, that were a bit fiddly. All it was lining up 2 holes. I made a right mess of that. Right. Okay, so that's for all the return wheels, and now we can add the bogies themselves. So let's just make sure I've got them all to the side here. So these fit, there's 2 nice big holes for you to drop it into. Like so. Now there is one that's slightly different. There is, so that one goes there. But there's 2 types of wheel bogies, so you've just got to be careful to make sure you put the wheel bogies in the correct position. The smaller one that you make goes in the middle, like so, and the larger ones go on the outside. That's one of the smaller ones. Now the easiest way for you to tell, the large ones have the little rods that we put on earlier, whereas the middle one doesn't. Okay, so once they're in place, it's just a matter of putting plenty of glue on. So I'm just going to dab it along the top to start with, let the capillary action do all the work. And a little bit of pressure just to push it down. And then what I like to do is, if you look on the other side, you can see where the locating pins are, so I'll just add a bit of glue to each of those locating pins. And I'll go from the sides. I always think with your running gear you can never have enough glue. If you use barely enough glue and later down the road you have problems with them coming off, you know, you'll have a nightmare. So plenty of glue, don't be shy. Okay, and then we've got one of these to go on, which is where your drive sprocket's got to go. So these can only fit on in one. Again, it's just making sure you get it all nicely lined up. There we go. Took quite a bit of an effort to push that in place. Still not 100% happy with it, to be honest with you guys. But that's how it goes. Just got to double check on the instructions. Yeah, it definitely goes that way. So I'm just got to put the other side on just to make sure. Right, what I'm going to do is take it and we've just got to swap them over and see if it fits better on the other side, which I've got a feeling it will do. Yeah, so I had it on the wrong side. There we go. I think nowadays you find with a lot of modern kits, if you haven't to use a lot of force and it just don't feel right, it's probably because you've got it in the wrong place or you've assembled it wrong. So I'll just put plenty of glue on here to that bit. Then I'm just going to go over to the other side and make sure this is really soundly glued in place. Okay, so that one's in place. Now finally, the last thing to go on for the time being is these little supports which the side skirt will fix onto. Now there's two different ones, so I've separated them. There's 4 of one type, 2 of the other type, hence that's why there's quite a distance apart. I didn't want to confuse them, mix them up or anything like that. Now these go along the bottom, so I'm just got to make sure I've got the right ones. So the 2 that are the same go on at this end. Okay, so just pop that in there. Plenty of glue on. Again, plenty of glue. So I'm just making sure. There we go. They're a bit loose actually, it's not the best fit. And then finally we get one more that goes to that hole there, so I'll just put the glue in first. It's quite a loose fit, to be honest with you, so what could be best, put your glue on, glue it in place like you normally do, and then give it a couple of minutes for the glue to start going off, and then just go back and make sure it's all nice and straight and lined up that way. It's always best doing that, let the glue start to go off and then it starts biting, so then when you go and adjust it, it won't tend to move back into place or be loose. So I'll just do that. So I'll come back in a minute and I will straighten these up because that one's still quite loose, so I just need the glue to go off a bit before I locate it properly. Okay, and I'm just checking, make sure we haven't missed anything. Okay, we've got a couple of these little loops again that I need to stick on at this end, which I'll do at a later stage, so I'll just turn it round and put the rest of all the different arms and bogies on this side. So I've just caught that. Yeah, these kind of supports are a bit of a nightmare actually. It does keep dropping down, so we'll have to go back and adjust it. Yes, we'll go and put the rest of this on. This is where if we were good enough with a computer, I'd put some elevator music over the top while I do this. Okay, then we've got the awkward one again, which had a bit of a pain to fit, is this one actually. So that goes something like oh, see what I mean? It's just popped off again. So I think I'll be looking for that one after I finish with. Oh, there it is. Thought that had been lost to the carpet monster then. Right, we'll put a bit of glue in the hole this time. See, it has got locating holes and a couple of little pins to put in, but they're not very big. And it's quite a loose fit, so on some kits you'll go to push the part on, you've got nice locating pins and it's a really tight fit, so when you push it in there, really you can get away with not using any glue. But I'm finding with this that a lot of them it's quite a loose fit, so when it's like that sometimes I will put glue on first, so that way when you do put the part in, the glue bites straight away. It just stops it from keep falling out or pinging off. Okay, so with that on we can put the wheel bogies on again. Again, this one ain't got the rods on the side, this one goes in the middle. So we'll put that in there. This time I'll put the glue on straight away. Plenty on. Press it down for a moment. Bit of glue over that end as well. Get the other two. I'm just pushing it in down, and then the final one goes on. Okay, just got all these to go on now. two that are the same start off there. Right. Make sure I get the right way. Right, so you know you've got it the right way. There is a little difference. You can tell by this area here, that should face to the bottom of the hull. Also, it is on an angle, so it does kind of slope upwards. So if you look from that angle, you can see how they're sloping towards which will be the top of the tank. Okay, so I'll just, they've all gone off nicely. Just give that one a little shove in a bit better. A bit more glue. Okay, so I've just got one more put on. Okay, there we go. And that just leaves, I'll be putting them on at a later stage. We've just got 4 more bits to put on. So I'm just going to make sure I get these correct. Right, we've got to start with these. So making sure that it goes that way, then that goes into there, like so. And it goes where we put that. Right, so where we put that earlier, which is going to be for the return, looks like a return wheel, this goes on at the very end bit. There's a little notch on the plate there, so this will slot into that. So all I need to do is just figure out how it goes in. Okay, so looking at that, it goes something like that. There we go. So that actually pushes in and is a really good fit actually. It's really tight fit, if you can see. And I'll tell you what goes on there eventually. That has got to be for the idler wheel, will fit onto there. So that's a really tight fit. So now that it's in place, put plenty of glue and just make sure it all joins up nicely. You've got to be very particular, make sure, well, really accurate with your attaching of the parts when you come to any of your road wheels, idler, sprocket, because if one of them's out, it can really affect how the tracks will go on. So we'll just push that down. Let's have a look. There we go. And then we'll put the other one on the other side. Goes that way. Oops. Just give that a go. And it's good when you hear that reassuring little click when it goes fully into position. So plenty of glue on there. Same on this one. Go. And then we've just got these bit, which will actually the idler will fix onto. Ooh, damn, very clumsy today. But what I'm going to do anyway is leave these bits onto which the idler fix. I'm going to leave off for the time being until we actually come to putting the tracks on and actually putting the idler on. That way we can make sure we get the angle correct. So that goes on there, and hopefully we'll leave it that way for you to look at. That should be all the running gear done. Yeah, that's all. The suspension is now done. Only thing we've really got left to put on there is going to be the wheels, as I've knocked off another part. Will be the wheels, the sprockets, and all the return rollers along the top. Obviously I'm going to paint all the running gear, all the wheels, etc. before I put the wheels on. And also in fact, I'll start and make it a bit more easy for you to understand, and I'll show you this. I'm often asked, when do I paint the wheels and the underside? What should you paint it before you put the tracks on, after you put the tracks on, etc. and etc. Right, if you take a look, I'll just move it up, make sure you get a really good look. If we look at a side view of the APC, you can see we've got really good side skirts. Okay, so because these cover the wheels, it's going to make it hard to get paint all around there with the side skirts on. So my plan, what I will do is I'll carry on, I'll build some of the upper hull, put all that on, then I will paint the lower hull. I'll paint all the wheels, and I'll paint and start the weathering process on the tracks. I will then add all the wheels, the drive sprocket, the idler, turn rollers. I will then add the tracks as well. After I've done that, I can then go ahead and put these side skirts on, which come all the way down and cover the wheels. The reason I'm doing that is because it makes it easier for me to paint all the wheels. Okay, if you were to do it, like I say, you know, you can't really spray properly and get right up under there if you've got the side skirts on. So I always like anything with side skirts, I'll always paint the wheels and the tracks, put everything on before I put the side skirts on. So what I'll then do is, once the side skirts have gone on, I will then mask over the wheels because of the tyres and the tracks. I'll just put a nice one piece of mask tape all the way around, and then I'm ready to go ahead and spray the upper hull. If it were a World War II tank, for example, and it didn't have any side skirts, you can then leave the wheels off right till the very end and the tracks off, and put the wheels and tracks on last. So side skirts, always paint the lower hull, all the wheels, etc. Put them on, then put your side skirts over the top, and then carry on and paint the top half. That's the way I prefer to do it. I know a lot of people have their own ways of doing it, but you know, that's the wonders of modelling. You know, I can obviously share with you my methods. If your methods work best for you, go with your methods. You know, every model is different, every model has their own preferred way of doing it. Okay, so in the next video we'll go on to start building up the upper hull. As you can see, there's quite a lot to do. There's a lot of detail that we're going to be putting on, and what I'm aiming to do with these videos is I am now presently, it is Tuesday afternoon. As soon as I finish this, it'll get uploaded onto YouTube and sent off to Phil so we can share it with you guys. And then I'll start prepping all the parts for the next video, so that'll probably be now Thursday, Friday, so then I'll do another episode and then it'll get straight up. Instead of having this where I'm building up episodes and it takes, you know, we get kind of, then I kind of get behind with getting things sent up and it takes longer for you to say anything. So what I'm aiming to do is get it recorded and get it straight up, and it's almost as I'm building, you will see that day. So it's almost, you could say it's almost like being alive. You know, we're getting it as fresh as possible, and that's got to be the kind of way I'm going to build all my builds from now on. So as soon as I record it, it'll be off to Phil and we'll get it up as soon as he can. So until next time, happy modelling.